So this week at GrowStrong Achievers, our theme is all about cognitive skills, and we're diving into logic, codes, and mazes. We've put together a really special program that uses structured, movement-based learning to help your child boost their memory, sequencing, and problem-solving skills, and of course, have an absolute blast while doing it.
Now, you might be wondering, what exactly are cognitive skills? Well, you can think of them as your child's mental toolkit. They're the essential abilities they use every single day to think, to learn, to remember, and just to figure out the world around them. Honestly, they are the foundation for a lifetime of learning.
And this is where the magic really happens, the incredible connection between a moving body and a developing brain. See, when kids are physically active, their brains literally light up, making them so much more receptive to learning new things. This amazing synergy helps them build a stronger memory, think more logically, and become these really confident, active problem solvers. And you can rest assured that every single activity is thoughtfully designed to be progressive and perfectly suited for your child's age.
To bring all this to life, every class we have is 90 minutes long and follows a really intentional structure, designed for that perfect balance of body and mind. Each class is like its own little journey. We always kick things off with a fun warm-up. Then we jump right into 30 minutes of high-energy gymnastics and movement. After a quick break to recharge those batteries, it's time for our skill-based cognitive activity, where all that learning and play really come together. And we always wrap up by celebrating every child's effort and achievements with awards and cheers. It's all about creating a positive and super encouraging experience for everyone.
Okay, so now let's take a look at how we adapt our logic, codes, and mazes theme for each age group. This is how we make sure every single child is challenged, engaged, and having fun. All right, let's start with the very first age group, the 2 to 4-year-olds. This is ground zero. This is where it all begins with the most fundamental building blocks of logic. Just recognizing patterns and following a super simple sequence.
The objective for these little guys is crystal clear. You use fun, physical games to introduce them to colors and the very basic idea of a pattern. It's really about turning an abstract concept like logic into a hands-on game that they can actually touch and understand. And this is where you can see the magic happen. I mean, look at how simple and brilliant this is. A coach shows them a pattern, red, blue, red. Then the kids have to physically grab those blocks and copy that exact pattern. This isn't just playing around. It's them turning an abstract idea, a sequence, into a concrete physical thing they built themselves. And the results from this are huge. They're not just learning their colors, they're developing focus, improving their coordination, and, this is the big one, they're learning how to follow a multi-step task all the way to the end. This is the absolute bedrock for all future problem solving. Okay, let's level up to the next stage, ages 4 to 6. We're about to see how all this builds. Now we're moving from just recognizing a pattern to actively following a whole sequence of directions. So welcome to the arrow mazes. So the goal here takes a big step up. Now the focus is really on strengthening their memory and getting them to understand that steps have to happen in a very specific order. Kids have to listen, remember the sequence, and then actually go and do it with their bodies. And this just illustrates the next step perfectly. In this arrow path game, kids run through an obstacle course to grab an arrow card, like forward or turn right. Then they place these arrows on a mat one after another, building a sequence. What have they just done? They've literally written a simple program. And the final step? They run the program by walking the exact path they just created. How cool is that? And you can see the growth in the learning outcomes. Their memory and their attention spans are being stretched. They're getting better at listening, at sequencing, and even at debugging their own little programs if they make a mistake, all while they're just having a ton of fun.
For our early elementary kids, we definitely step it up a notch. We introduce them to the exciting world of conditional logic with our if-then fun activities.
In our if-then-else maze, kids get to learn the absolute basics of coding logic. They'll pick a card with a rule on it, something like, if you see a blue cone, then you crawl. They have to apply that rule as they make their way through a really fun and challenging obstacle circuit. The coordination ladder is all about building rhythm and focus while moving. They'll practice those classic in, out patterns with their feet, but we add a little twist. At each out step, they have to pick up a disc. It adds an extra layer of challenge that really helps them stay focused. And just like that, this is their first taste of coding logic. They're learning conditional if-then thinking. They're making quick decisions, and they're improving their focus, all while being incredibly active. It's fantastic. And finally, for our oldest group, the 8 to 10-year-olds, we move on to our more advanced coding circuits. The Code Builder circuit is where everything really comes together. The kids will race through different stations, from monkey bars to balance beams, and they collect arrow tiles along the way. Then, they have to arrange those tiles to build their own physical program, or code, and follow their own instructions to the finish line.
This activity is all about cause and effect reasoning. It sharpens their planning and sequencing abilities, it strengthens their memory, and it truly helps them build strategic thinking skills for the long run.
So, you see, from the simplest patterns for our toddlers all the way to complex coding circuits for our older kids, we meet every child exactly where they are. At GrowStrong Achievers, our mission is simple. We combine movement and thinking to build confident, creative, and stronger kids. We promise a program that's focused on structured development, all within a safe and incredibly encouraging environment, where every single child gets to experience that amazing feeling of progressive skill growth. Because together, we grow stronger. We are achievers.